Welcome to Impact. In this video, you'll learn how to install and set up the Impact Store app. The Impact Store app is the easiest way for you to access all of Impact's features right within your instance. To get started, you're going to log in to the ServiceNow instance where you want to install Impact. We recommend installing the Impact Store app in all your production instances, as well as all the sub-production instances where you're doing your development and testing work. Once you've logged in, you're going to navigate to the Application Manager page, where you can search for Impact. If you haven't yet installed the Impact app, it'll show up in the Available for You section. Since it's already been installed for me in this demo instance, I'll hop over to the Installed tab and go ahead and click on Impact. Once again, if you haven't installed the app yet, there will be an Install button here, and once it's installed, you can go ahead and click Configure, which will open up a new tab and let you get started with the guided setup. You can go ahead and click Continue, and then click Get Started. Your first step is to set up your Impact users, where you can add yourself and other people on your team to the specific user groups that you'd like them to be in. So you can go ahead and click Start on the user management step. For example, you can click the Impact App Admin group, click on the Group Members tab, and then hit Edit, where you can select any number of users and add them to the Impact App Admin group. Once you're done adding members, you can hit Save. Once you finish adding the users you want, you can go ahead and mark this step as complete. Your next step is to set up the platform health features in Impact. Your first step is to make sure that you've got the right users assigned to the right groups. We recommend that you check out our documentation page that walks through the different Impact users and groups, and make sure that the right users are assigned so that the right folks have permission to run scans and view findings on your health analytics dashboards. There's a link to the page in the video description. To add users to groups, you'll follow the exact same steps that you did in the previous user management step. Once you've got the right users assigned to your groups, your next step is to create development teams so that findings can be associated with the right developers. To do this, you'll navigate to Scan Engine Properties, where you'll select the Team Leads related list. Then, you'll create a new record. Each record indicates a team and development team lead as well as team members that Scan Engine findings will be reported on in your analytics dashboard. Once you fill this out, you can navigate back to the guided setup page and mark this step as complete. Your next step is to activate and set up the Scan Engine. First, select the Sys Update version in the pink error banner at the top of the embedded window. Then navigate to the Application Access tab in the new window. Select the Can Read checkbox and save the record. Next, navigate back to the guided setup page where you can reload the embedded form. You'll see that you no longer see the pink error banner at the top of the window. Next, you're going to want to select the Activate Scan Engine checkbox and save the record. Make sure the Run Scheduled Scan checkbox is selected, choose a run frequency, time zone, and specific time for your scheduled scans to run. We recommend selecting a time during off hours to avoid any performance issues on your instance. Next, select the default hourly developer rate in your preferred currency. This information will be used to calculate your ROI from reducing technical debt. Last, review your Scan Engine settings tabs. You'll have to come back to some of these settings once you've integrated your instances, which we'll hear about later in the video. But let's take a look at the settings that you can configure here right away. In the Definitions tab, make sure Enable Instance-Specific Definitions is selected. Additionally, make sure that Override Environment Check for demand scans and Override Environment Check for update set scans are selected as well. These enable you to scan or not scan for specific definitions on an instance, but have the flexibility to override this setting. You won't be able to enable definition synchronization until you integrate your instances, so don't worry about that for now. Next, navigate to the Real-Time Scanning tab. To start, we recommend limiting real-time message visibility to users with the Scan Engine user role. We also recommend initially leaving the Enforce Real-Time Validation checkbox unmarked. Once your team is used to seeing messages flagging technical debt appear, we recommend expanding the message visibility to all users. And after that, then enforcing real-time validation. This can help make sure that your development team has time to adjust to the real-time messaging in their workflow, but you can feel free to move faster or slower depending on your specific situation. Next, navigate to exception reasons. Make sure to select Enforce Rejected Exception Reason Validation and exclude approved exception reasons from technical debt. This will make sure that rejected exceptions can't be bypassed and that approved exceptions don't count against your technical debt findings. We recommend auto-accepting existing reasons for new findings and line number changes, as this will make it easier for your devs to not have to submit additional exceptions for the same type of finding, or if they move a piece of code that has a finding to another line as they work. You won't be able to select Enable Approvals in production until you integrate your instances, so don't worry about that for now. Next, navigate to Update Set Scanning. We recommend leaving the Update Set Scanning conditions as is. The default setting here filters the scan to only focus on update sets that you're actually working on, which speeds up processing significantly. Next, select the Enforce Update Set Validation checkbox. Then add the following filter conditions. Aggregate number of acts is 0, and aggregate unapproved exception reasons is 0, and associated exception reasons is not empty. These conditions will not be added by default, so you have to make sure that you select the Enforce Update Set Validation checkbox and then add these filters afterwards. This makes sure that you can't push any update sets with act level findings or any update sets with recommend level findings that haven't been approved into production. For Enable Update Set Summary Scan Synchronization, the user story integrations, or the AES AEMC integration, check out our separate video on integrating your instances. After this, you're ready to run your first scan. Please note that your first scan could take a few hours to complete, so we recommend running your first scan overnight to avoid any slowdown on your instance, especially in production. In order to run your first scan, select Execute Now in the embedded window. To monitor your progress, you can navigate to Scan Status from the All menu. Once your scan is complete, you can navigate to the Analytics dashboard from the All menu as well to view your results. Your final step to set up your platform health features is to integrate your instances. This will let you compare technical debt, sync custom definitions, enable approvals for exceptions, and create user stories across instances. Please refer to our video on integrating your instances for more detail on this step, or refer to our product documentation. Your next step in the guided setup is to run a Service Bridge health scan. Service Bridge is an application that will connect your instance to the Impact Delivery instance, which is where your Impact Squad will work with you from. To run the Service Bridge health scan, click Start next to Service Bridge Pre-Configuration Scan. Then go ahead and click Start Service Bridge Health Scan. This will open a new tab with the Service Bridge pre-onboarding page. From there, click Execute Suite Scan, click Full Instance, and then execute the scan. Once the scan is completed, click Go to Result, and you'll be able to view the scan findings. If any items do appear under the Scan Findings tab, you can open the link in the Task column to view details of issues that were discovered. This link will direct you to known error documentation that can assist you with fixing the issue. Once the issues are resolved, you can move back to the Guided Setup tab and move on to the next step. Next, move on to the Connect Your Instance step and click Start. You can read through the Learn About Registering Your Instance step if you'd like and mark it as complete. Next, you can move on to the Automated Registration process, where you'll configure Service Bridge to set up the secure connection between your instance and the Impact Delivery instance. Go ahead and click Create Provider Connection, which will open up a new tab where you'll see ServiceNow Impact pre-populated as the name of the connection record. You'll want to go ahead and click Save. Next, you can click Connect to Impact. You'll see that the outbound and inbound status here, which indicate the bidirectional data flow, say Not Onboarded. Once these statuses switch to say Active Replication, this indicates that your Service Bridge connection is active. Once this occurs, you can go back to the Guided Setup, where you can mark the Start Automated Registration step as complete. You'll be moved along to the Verify Your Connection step, where once again you should see the table here showing your connection record and show the inbound and outbound status as Active Replication. You can go ahead and mark this step as complete. Next, you'll be taken to the Initiate Sync and Migration step. What this does is migrate any data that you had in the old Impact portal to your instance. All you need to do is click on Start Data Migration, which will begin the process. For more specific information on exactly what tables are being migrated over, you can click on the Data Migration record, which shows you each table that's being migrated over and a migration progress bar for each. Once the data migration is complete, the final step in the Guided Setup lets you know who your Impact Squad members are and also lets you provide them with access to hop into your instance if you would like. mark the members you would like to provide access, and click the Approve button. Note that this step is only available in production instances, and the SNC Access Control plugin needs to be installed for this step to work. Once you complete this, you're all set. You can mark this step as complete and then hit Complete at the top of the guided setup page. Now, you can go ahead and search for Impact either in the All menu or in the Workspaces menu and start exploring the Impact application. Now that you've learned how to install and set up the Impact Store app, you're all set to access all of Impact's features right within your instance. To learn more about Impact, please check out the other how-to videos in our series. Thanks for watching.